We're live.
We are. That's wonderful. So let me share that somewhere. X doesn't work the same way. It started working differently.
Yeah, that's true. It's not shareable anymore.
It's sort of shareable. You just have to grab the link, copy link, and then do a tweet. Yeah, or whatever. We're live. Oh my gosh, are you getting audience? Oh, look who's in the back room there. We can add them up.
Oh.
How do I make it appear differently?
Like this? No.
You can play with it. See if you can figure that out. Meantime, I'm going to share the link over here. Hello, Garrett and Chuck.
Hello, I think we're sorted out.
Oh, you have a bad echo. Oh.
Then we should be good here from this mic.
Do you have two devices on? Maybe it was my device. Try again. Go on mute. Go on mute. You're muted.
You're muted.
How many attorneys does it take to...
Chuck, have your mic off and use only the other and then unmute that. This screen is muted.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear us now?
Yes.
I can hear you. How are you there by yourself and with Garrett too? Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, okay. But we should use this because this is the nice.
If you want to use the other view, then Chuck, the machine that is in front of you has to be completely muted, and then.
Okay, you're muted. I don't understand why they sign on to two devices. One device is fine.
Okay, now you
mute Chuck's device, and now unmute Garrett.
Okay.
I put Dan from studio. I'm just going to remove Stick from studio. Okay, everybody, like say Alouette, Gentil Alouette. Why are you on mute?
Well, the issue is my monitor does not have separate speakers. So we thought we're both here. Why don't we do it together? But I don't have audio output for Chuck to hear separate from headphones. So we were going to have
your volume on really loud and maybe both of you could hear. It's like you would take it off your ears because that wouldn't hurt.
Let's try it. Let's turn up the volume.
Also, Rabbi and I can talk really loud.
Can
you hear us?
Okay.
No, I don't think so because the
2.5.
Okay, so does Chuck's computer have the same problem?
We tried a few times. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can just do it through yours and.
Okay.
Do either of you have phones in the year 2026?
Okay, Chuck's gonna come through on his, and
it worked. Yeah. We'll remove this, and they're logging in with the other. In the meantime, so there is an audience. Curtis, do you want to greet the audience of many people already?
Hi, I'm Curtis Morrison. I own this law firm, Ready to Go Law, and this is what we're doing today. This is Rabia. This is Chuck and Garrett.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Can you guys hear us now?
Yes, beautiful.
So Chuck and Garrett are both in DC because Chuck had flown there to support Garrett because we had oral arguments this week in a case called Fine v. Trump. It was a DV 2025 lawsuit that in the order where we won injunctive relief, we also lost injunctive relief. The judge gave us some of what we wanted, but not all of what we wanted. So the government appealed the order and we cross-appealed the order. And there was supposed to be a hearing on that tomorrow. And the court has decided it is moot. So in other words, the court's not going to consider the issues of the appeal. So that's a little bit frustrating for them. But they're together. Maybe Garrett can show Chuck the Washington Monument. Is that where Abraham Lincoln is?
No, Lincoln is at the Lincoln Memorial.
The Lincoln Memorial.
But yeah, I think we're going to check into the archives tomorrow so you can see the Declaration of Independence.
That's good.
That'll be a very timely document to revisit.
Especially these days.
Yeah. Did you know there's a line in the Declaration of Independence where our founding fathers were complaining about the king making restrictive immigration rules?
And complaining about the British quartering troops in their residence.
Yeah, I know. So we need to start maybe looking into bringing causes of action under the Declaration of Independence, except that could also be called revolution. So maybe not. I don't know.
Well, there are still soldiers at the train station. So
Yeah.
welcome to the Hunger Games capital.
Pretty crazy. Someone on our team was in the Hunger Games, but we're not allowed to say her name. Not allowed in relation to that.
Okay, moving on, because if we're not allowed and we stick on it, then it's happening.
Yeah, I get a lot of trouble for that. Okay. So
We talked about fine. Do you want to give a quick update on other lawsuits that are currently pending?
Pending. Okay. I was going to say these are the ones we're onboarding. We're onboarding these 5.
Okay.
But yes, let's talk about the pending ones. USCIS memo lawsuits. While we're offering 3 new ones, we have some pending too. Okay. I found out today one is missing on here, but I don't know which one it is. I haven't looked into that. My tracking of this. Okay, so USCIS memos, there were 2, one on December 2nd, one on January 1st, to put a hold on all USCIS decisions for citizens from travel ban countries. These are USCIS decisions on applications like I-130s, 485, 765 work authorizations. So we have been litigating a lot around that. Of the 9 lawsuits I've got here, I haven't found the 10th one yet. Someone emailed it to me. I guess we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, and I've already had 1 hearing last week. And also, Jim Hacking has had a hearing in case number 2. So case number 1 and 2 has had a hearing already. The other cases have not had hearings. There's 1 hearing scheduled on March 3rd in San Francisco. No, sorry, San Jose, which is near San Francisco for those that don't know. Okay. What can we say about this? I'm very optimistic about our odds of having the USCIS hold enjoined for our clients. We have several causes of action that are viable. And it's easier to get that first order and kind of hoping that we get an order before Mr. Hacking, but if Mr. Hacking gets the first one, that's okay too. And we hope for success for all these cases, even the ones that aren't ours. We want everybody to be able to overcome unlawful barriers. You all have anything to add to that?
I mean, I think maybe I'm a little surprised we haven't seen an order yet in either case. But I
Was it
hope
3
that
days?
every time the judges are being very, very thoughtful and deliberate and tailoring their judgment accordingly.
Correct. And as much as I try to get judges to give me relief on Wednesday morning so that I could announce things in my live, they just don't cooperate. I need to update their clerks about my schedules. Just kidding. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll continue to track this. So do you want to jump into questions? Because I think we're going to have a lot of them today.
Okay. Then let's jump in the questions. And the first question is if there are any updates on the 39-country USCIS hold, any expectations of a class action lawsuit coming soon?
Good question. I know that class action is coming soon because one of the attorneys that's working on it, I'm now collaborating with him and we're discussing issues, but I haven't asked him for a timeline. I think that they are working on it, though. He's actually pointed out something really smart. I don't think I can explain on this call, maybe. Okay, so basically of all these 9 cases, only in one of them have they argued that this was a final agency action. And it's funny because they argued in others that it wasn't, and that kind of creates an opportunity for us to have like an exhibit that says, oh, you say it's not an agency action, but here you said it was an agency action. So that's kind of cool. I got on a tangent there. It's coming. I don't have the timeline.
Okay. And generally, the question about any updates on the hold. So there's been a lot of talk the past days because in courts, the government attorneys, of course, keep bringing up the 90 days. And I believe many impacted people are asking themselves, is there any hope that after the 90 days, the pause may get lifted?
Right. So in my opinion, no, but I could be wrong. I'm going to share my screen, I think. I don't know. I need to see what it says. Because I don't want to get in trouble. Because in my case, the government attorney did say that there would be additional operational guidance. But I don't think that, I think that she was not.
We can pull up the memo for that. The memo has that exact same language saying after 90 days, the exact term operational guidance appears in the memo.
Okay. I'm going to show you what went on here. Yeah, I could share this screen without getting in trouble. I'm so scared I'm going to get in trouble. No, I'm not going to get in trouble. Okay, so the court. Who wants to be the court? Rabbi, you be the judge. You're the court.
I be the judge. Okay. Mm-hmm. The policy memo also refers to a development of a prioritized list for review that will be developed in 90 days of issuance of the memo, which I think brings us up to early March 2nd. What is that? What do you know about that?
Okay, I'm the government attorney, Ms. Balkison. I don't know about that, Your Honor. I'm not sure what that would be. We would have to, my understanding is that we would wait until March to understand that further.
Okay. Do you have any insight or information as to how that list would be used or how it would impact this process?
I don't, Your Honor. So,
okay. That's what we have
here
on the 90 days.
Yeah. I was not impressed that the government, I don't think the government was really saying that there's going to be guidance. I don't think that that's what's really happening here. I think that 90 days, March 2nd, is going to come and go, and we're not going to see an update from USCIS. That was fun.
Yeah,
Next time that they
I
can do
was, and I'm looking to read the exact language to you, but that's how I understood the policy memo itself as well. It says, within 90 days of this memorandum issuance and in consultation with OPS and the Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, USCIS will prioritize a list for review, interview, and re-interview and issue operational guidance. And that, to me, does not indicate that anything is going to be published.
Right.
Yeah.
But you said you just brought up operational guidance, and oh yeah, that is the end of that sentence.
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, I'm just going to agree with the government. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Yeah, if we look at our next question here, talking about new exceptions, like for work authorization, I think it's hard to say if that's likely to happen because our two other examples, the travel ban and the State Department 75 country pause, well, the travel ban just keeps getting more restrictive. The June version had exceptions that the December version in Proclamation 10998 did not have. But the State Department, with their 75 country pause on immigrant visa processing, did create a new exception for adoptions because of, I believe, a litigation that came through with a temporary restraining order on that point. So it's probably that these policies are a one-way ratchet and they're not going to create more exceptions. They're going to create less and make it more restrictive. But I think we can't definitively say either way.
Right. And I think important context is the New Year's Eve representations by the Department of Homeland Security that where they're doing the resolutions, right? And they're romanticizing 100 million deportations. The way they achieve that goal is not to add additional exceptions, but to take exceptions away and add more restrictions. Believe them when they tell you that they're going to do something bad. They're not faking it.
On that note, in one of the very good and very well informed chats that I'm reading in on the 39 country pause, someone identified today that our friend Mr. Miller has not yet identified the loophole to send active military abroad green card holders and not let them come back in their deportation efforts. Just as a how dark the thoughts can get there. But it's true. So many things are literally looking for ways to deport people that otherwise are perfectly legal in the United States.
Yeah. So,
alrighty.
They promised to remove all these millions of criminal aliens, and there weren't criminal. There weren't.
Yeah.
They don't have them. They don't exist, and so they need other people to play those roles, and that's where you all come in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's horrible.
The data show that half of them are people without any criminal background.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, point of privilege here.
So
I represent people that are Uber drivers that took military folks that have been out drinking back to the base, and then at the guard shack here where I live, Camp Pendleton, at the guard shack, they're like, Uber driver, can we see your green card? And then like, no green card. And then they detain. It's happening to multiple Uber and Lyft drivers that are taking care of U.S. service members, but they're getting caught up in this trap. No criminal histories. Anyway, let's have we already answered this question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim gave you so much kudos in his show. So if you want to send a message back to Jim while we're here.
Yeah, we were actually texting during his show, and he told me he was going to do that. So thank you, Jim.
Very nice.
And kudos back to you. You're doing a great job. We're borrowing from you. You're borrowing from us. Hopefully at the end, we all get our clients what they're looking for. Hands yellow, heart red.
Thank you. What percentage of the fine cases were adjudicated or issues visas? Asking this to have an estimate of how compliant the government would be with the court order. I joined the DV 2026 lawsuit as an AOS.
Crazy enough, one of the plaintiffs asked me that question today. And so I have the numbers, but I don't have the statistics. I know that there were 102 plaintiffs. 76 were issued visas as a result of the court order that were found eligible for an Iranian exception for ethnic or religious minority. 2 plaintiffs were
That's
issued
a rough
visas.
75%.
Yeah. And 2%, two plaintiffs were issued visas as a result of the court's order because they were dual nationals. They acquired second nationality. And then 17 plaintiffs were issued visas under the district court's proclamation or preliminary injunction, who the visa said subject to the proclamation, but they were accepted under the next proclamation because they had issued visas. And so they entered the United States already, like 3 weeks ago, right? And then 7 plaintiffs were refused under INA 212F and not issued visas. So that's the breakdown. So actually, is that 93% of the Thine v. Trump plaintiffs are happy, and 7% are frustrated, and I'm frustrated with them.
Thank you so much. Then the next question is there an update on the 75 countries visa pause and the lawsuit pertaining to it?
So the pause itself, there's no update. Lawsuit pertaining to it, I would say that there are 2 lawsuits that are in the works, right? The lawsuit that we onboarded that we will be filing soon. And also there's a lawsuit in the Southern District of New York, referred to as the clinic lawsuit. And to my knowledge, they're seeking relief for everyone, but to my knowledge, they haven't filed a motion for class certification or a motion for preliminary injunction yet. Haven't checked in a couple of days though. We will be filing our lawsuit either tomorrow or Friday. We want to make sure we get it right. That's what's most important.
Thank you. Don't know if you guys handle employment I-485s. I heard EB1 I-485 used to be one of the most straightforward. Have you guys noticed more challenges or denials with EB-based I-485 recently?
Chuck, you're laughing. Do you want to answer? Are you reading something else?
I'm laughing on different.
Oh, you're laughing at something else.
Apologies for any background noise. We've got that reduced now.
You're watching TikTok videos of Ophelia. I know. Okay. Don't know if you guys handle employment 485. Okay, so we don't. We do mandamus lawsuits for 485 applicants, but generally we stay out of the practitioners' lanes who did the day in and day out. We like to do litigation.
So what I heard is that after Trump regime is back, they are doing interview again, and during the interview, they will not only look at the 485 but also the underlying I-140. So that's a bunch of so that will make things very much more difficult now. Also, they are doing the discretion thing, so that So the immigration officer will exercise their discretion to consider the holistic, whether you go do any community service or any, community contribution, or also in the news they say they are going to ask about your neighbors. I haven't heard anything about it. So.
Well, the neighborhood check is for N400s naturalization, I think, right? I don't know.
I think so too.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, I haven't. What's funny is that memo came out about neighborhood checks, but I haven't seen any neighborhood checks yet. So maybe they're still rolling that out. Okay.
Would be interesting to see where they get the resources from to do those neighborhood checks.
Yeah, I have a theory on that. While they're not giving decisions for like 40% of the applicants in the US because of these policy memos, that frees them up to do other things. So maybe that's where they're getting the resources. But how they're going to review the million applications that happened from 2020 to 2024, I don't know where they're getting resources for that. No, that's crazy.
So also the news Rabia sent this morning, I read through it. There was a policy that they will ask USCIS agents to carry guns and do enforcement things. So that's crazy.
Yeah, the employees in those agencies, there's been a lot of hardship for them as well, right? At first a high percentage got ripped. People just got cut out, fired, basically one day to the other in government terms, right? There was a period, but USCIS, State Department, there were cuts everywhere, and at the same time, I think ICE is the only agency in regards to immigration that is growing very fast, apparently without background checks or necessary training, and the adjudication hold. I'm not sure if officers. There was already a crazy backlog, and then people got laid off, fired. So I don't know if they are adjudicating officers sitting around not doing anything. I doubt it.
Well, on that point, probably the coming fiscal year will have lots of visa numbers from family based. So probably they will waste it again. Probably.
Yeah. Oh well. Next question. I have my wife's visa interview on March 30, and the usual turnaround time in Pakistan is around 2 weeks to receive a visa. Is it reasonable to expect a PI to be granted on or around that date?
What date?
March 30, in 2 weeks.
No.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. Go ahead and prepare her to go to the interview, but do not expect a visa to be issued that day. That's not realistic.
Well, I think the question is if the preliminary injunction order will be, the PI will have been issued around that date.
Yeah, that's not, the PI has not been, okay, she's talking about the 75 country pause, right?
Correct.
Not saying whether or not she's a plaintiff or not. That's one flag, because if you're not a plaintiff, you're not going to benefit. But we haven't filed the complaint yet. We're going to file probably by Friday, and then the PI motion will be filed early next week. That means if it's filed on the 23rd or 24th, at the very, it would be a record for us to have a PI order by the end of March. By March 30th. It would actually match our record. Garrett's our record in fine, right? But I don't think it's realistic. I think for relief from a motion for preliminary injunction, realistically, you need to wait 2 to 4 months. 2 to 3.
We have two attorneys on this call today. that have set the 2 fastest records for a PI motion that I've heard of personally. One is Curtis and Young, and the other is Garrett and Fine.
Okay, that's true.
That's you guys.
Well, yes, miraculous is the word to use. Maybe not reasonable.
Also, the selection bias.
Yeah. So I just realized something we didn't talk about, and that's how the DV 2026 group lawsuit onboarding is coming. So I think you've wrapped up the questions, right?
We wrapped up questions. Yeah. You can.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and show you something. Let me not get in trouble. So there's been 104 DV 2026 selectees and their families from 35 different countries register for the group lawsuit. Top countries: Russia, Iran, Albania, Ethiopia, Taiwan, Ukraine, Egypt, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Saudi Arabia. And this doesn't show well, but I'll go ahead and say where the other ones are. Oh, this is awful because I can't pronounce this word and I get in trouble. Kazakhstan, Morocco, Thailand, Armenia, Austria, Azerbaijan, Bahamas, Cameroon, Chile.
Azerbaijan.
Thank you. Democratic Republic of Congo, France, Ghana, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, New Zealand, Romania, Serbia, Spain, Tunisia, United Kingdom, and Uzbekistan. So.
Thank you. That's super exciting. And Curtis, a KH in that region is a Kazakhstan.
I need to learn English before I go learning other languages. I'm from Kentucky, y'all. Indiana. Anyway. So anything else we need to talk about today?
Onboarding is open for 2 more weeks.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. So onboarding is open for our DV 2026 lawsuit until the end of the month, until the 28th.
Okay. 9 more days.
10 days, 8 hours, 54 seconds. And some of y'all may get confused because it's like, hey, why are there 2 websites onboarding the DV 2026 lawsuit? This is the Ready Go Law website, but we built the onboarding website separate because it's such a big deal. And it's stopthedvpause.com. And so you could go to either website to get there. And onboarding, you have to choose your payment method before you start, which way you're going to pay. And then there's instructions here. Our team has gone out of the way to do frequently asked questions. And then there's all these people that you can contact to ask questions in your language if you don't want to talk to me in English or you can't get a hold of me. Look, there's videos in all these languages. It's kind of cool. So we've gone to a lot of trouble because we want to make sure we onboard this lawsuit correctly. There's a reason. I'm not going to be onboarding DV 2026 lawsuits all year, right? This is it. If you missed the train, don't come back to me in a few months and say, hey, can I get on the train? That's not how trains work. It's not how lawsuits work either.
Yeah. There's another question for the DV case. Someone had an interview today and wants to participate in the lawsuit. The wife is affected by the pause and the husband is affected by the ban. Who is filing the lawsuit? Her or me? The principal applicant, right? Whoever the selectee is.
Right. So when you register, it asks who the selectee is. It doesn't say who's filing the lawsuit. The question is, who is the selectee? So in your case, I don't know because you didn't say. So you need to say, for the question, who is the selectee, you say who the selectee is. And for the question, who is the derivative, you say who the derivative is. Okay. More questions?
Thank you. Yes. In light of Doe v. Trump and the possible new USCIS directive on March 2nd, does this mean the current immigration pause will end in March, or could it continue in another form?
It's a directive now? No, there's not going to be a USCIS directive on March 2nd. I don't believe in this. This is fantasy land. If there is, it's not going to be good. So your question, does this mean the current immigration pause will end in March? In my view, it will not. But we will find out soon.
Thank you. Is USCIS's threat to deny applications for people from 39 countries if ordered by courts to adjudicate a legitimate one or just bluffer? Would that spring many more lawsuits if they did so?
It is a bluff because it would be unlawful. The Immigration and Nationality Act is extremely specific about the law and the facts that you use to determine eligibility for an immigration benefit. Nowhere in the thousands of words contained in the Immigration and Nationality Act does say, we're mad at you because you did a lawsuit, so we're going to, because a judge ordered us to do this, so that's our decision's refused. That's not the law. There's no way they can do that, okay? So they will not be denying visa applications, USCIS benefits, because a judge orders decisions. They've never done it before. I've been doing these kind of lawsuits for a while now, done over 1,000 of them. It's not going to start happening now. Better not say that.
Curtis, I'll probably disagree because we see they already deny applications on Chinese change status to F1. So I think they will probably do it to deny those applications.
Even though you're talking about a place where there's discretion. You're talking about non-immigrant visa applicants like that are subject to that proclamation, right?
Yeah, but they still have discretion to for the I-485. So the policy the USCIS policy manual on discretion is only on the part of 45. They actually don't have a policy manual section for non-immigrant. So,
well, I think the fact that they don't have the policy manual is one of the reasons why they get away with it. Maybe more with the Chinese nationals affected by that proclamation. For you all that don't know, there was a proclamation from the Trump administration, the first Trump administration, that affects Chinese students that Biden never rescinded, and it's still there, and we're still seeing applied. It's pretty crazy. That's what Chuck's referring to. But in my view, this is a bluffer. Chuck's like, maybe not. I will say in 2019, there was a lawsuit called Darshini 2019 to 2020 that I filed in the Central District of California, and the government made that same argument. They haven't made that with me since, by the way. They made that argument that said, if you force us to give decision, then we're just going to refuse. And I filed a sanctions motion against the government attorney for saying that, because I think it deters litigation, deters access to justice. And at the end of the day, that lawsuit got everybody, all the plaintiffs, what they wanted, and so it mooted out. But the judge actually didn't agree with me on the sanctions motion at the last minute. But I don't see that this is a risk. Also, do not be surprised when the government makes arguments, okay? You're suing them, so they're going to come back and argue at you. They're not going to just roll over, okay? Next question.
Thank you. Next question. People started to onboard like hell to a DV lawsuit. Are you going to extend the deadline for declarations, or does it stop with the first 45 plaintiffs because of the 15th February deadline?
Yeah, there was a modest pickup in registrations to the DV lawsuit, but I wouldn't say like hell. The Good Luck versus the Biden lawsuit had 11,000 selectee families, 24,000 plaintiffs. Okay. So that's like hell. There was one time where I took a nap for 6 hours and I woke up and I had 1,000 more clients. That's onboarding like hell. So Our team will continue to add declarations as we have capacity, but we don't want to do so much like work that's not going to help us. In other words, duplication of the same declaration, like the same person in the same situation, that's not going to be helpful. Judges don't like that, actually. We're looking for diversity of hardship now at this point. So, and with a special emphasis on time-sensitive. With DVs, there's already a time-sensitive thing built in, September 30th, right? But if there's other time-sensitive things, we want to point those out. For instance, some DVs had to have the Sputnik test. Is that what it's called? Where you go to your medical exam and they say, oh, you need an X-ray, and that takes 2 more months. That applicant cannot wait until September to get a new medical exam. They have to get a new medical exam in July, so they need an order in June, right? So that we find people like that, we definitely want to collect direct declarations from them. So it's very specific to the plaintiff.
Thank you. And here's just the clarification. The interview on in March in Pakistan. That's a plaintiff of the 75 country pause lawsuit. Thank you for the clarification.
And thank you for your confidence in us.
And Sarah is following up on the Doe v. Trump case. And Sarah, so this was discussed a lot in the beginning of the live. So unless the attorneys want to go over it all again, I would recommend that you just watch the beginning of the live.
Right, she's not asking a question, she's just adding context.
The directive, yeah. She's asking if there will be another directive, and that you had contemplated a lot in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. Then we have a question from Instagram. Dear Team Red Eagle Law, I'm a DV 2026 winner, currently in the US, planning to process via adjustment of status. My case number is in the 13,000s, not yet current. I'm from Ukraine. I have a few quick questions regarding the lawsuit. First, does it make sense for an AOS applicant with my case number to join? Second, what is the deadline to join and the total cost? And third, how would joining the lawsuit benefit my specific case given the current pause?
Okay, the answer to the first question is yes. It makes sense for you to participate. And if you don't participate by the end of the month, you can't participate. So you got to make that decision kind of quick. Second is cost.
Total
right?
cost?
Yeah, so I'll share that on the website so you can see it when you look for it there. Cost to participate, $2,500 for each DV 2026 selectee. It's the same regardless of family size. It's $500 in advance, and then the $2,000 that's remaining is due. What does that say after entry in the U.S.? It should say after entry in the U.S. or issuance of the green card, and or like 485 approval. And I think it says that on the retainer agreement. So basically, you have 8 $250 payments after you get the green card. Oh, third question.
Third question. How will it benefit his specific case given the current pause?
Okay. So with litigation, we do not know the outcome before it happens. This is how we hope it will benefit you. We hope that we can persuade a judge to enjoin the pause, cancel the pause as applied to our plaintiffs, and compel USCIS and the State Department to make good faith efforts to give final decisions to our plaintiffs. Okay? That is what our goal is. If we accomplish our goal, that will benefit you because you will get a green card if you are eligible for it, right? We may accomplish our goal in part. We may have like the judge remove the pause, but not rush the government. So different outcomes can happen. But one thing's for sure, you're probably not going to, actually it's not for sure 100%. It's probably 95%, 99% true. You're probably not going to benefit from the lawsuit if you don't participate. So if you want certainty, don't participate and you won't benefit.
Thank you. And Ukraine is only subject to the DV pause, right? Not to any of the other barriers.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. Yeah. So not participating in this situation is having faith and hope that Trump will change his mind and decide that immigrants are good and remove restrictions. I don't think it's going to happen.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yes. I would open a donut
Okay.
shop and I would eat all the donuts.
No, I would come and I would eat all the donuts.
I'm already eating a lot of donuts, to be honest. I think people that have been watching the show for a while probably noticed. Anyway.
Should we look back really quick? I know I cut you short in the beginning. Before we close out here, the lawsuits that are onboarding next. I think we have the next N400 coming up. Is that the next one that's going to be filed on the USCIS challenge?
Good
Or is
question.
it the I-765?
These are the 5 group lawsuits that we're onboarding. Actually, it's 4. 75 country pause that says registration closed. If you go there, though, there's a link to an interest list in case we decide to do that again. Somewhere I was texted this information. There we go. The 765 group lawsuit will be the next up that will be filed. We have 7 plaintiffs on that so far. And then we'll do the next N400 pre-interview, and then we'll do a 485. We have plaintiffs onboarded all 3, but only 7 for that 765 case that we're filing probably next week. So if you have a pending work authorization and you're from one of those 39 countries plus Palestinian Authority, and you're not a party to a lawsuit yet, you probably should participate. You should probably go to our website right here and click on right here. See this little, why is it not showing why I'm right here? See my little cursor here? Click join now and it goes to this page, and then you can register as a new client, or if you're an existing client, you pay a little bit reduced price and you go right there, register as the existing client.
Thank you. And that's going to continue until they stop.
Onboarding, we just continue rotating. So whenever you're ready to move forward with your life, register for a lawsuit. Okay. You'll get put on the next one if we've already got this one together. But don't wait. That's the way I look at it. I think we got one more question down there. We'll wrap up. What do you think?
Awesome. Hi, sorry that I'm just asking. That's what we're here for. Maybe I joined late. Does joining for DV Lottery 2026 need only the winner to be part of appeal, or all the members? For example, if the woman wins, does the husband have to do something? If the husband has to join the lawsuit as a plaintiff, if that's the question, then
Okay.
yes, if the husband wants relief, right?
We need the selectee to be a plaintiff. Okay. What we assume that everybody that's a visa applicant on the case wants to be a plaintiff. If the selectee's already got the visa, we still want them to be a plaintiff because they have an interest in their spouse and kids also being in the US. So if you do the onboarding, it's going to ask you these questions. The onboarding is going to say, hey, who's the selectee? Hey, who's the derivative? And so just answer those questions. It'll walk you through. But generally, we want the whole family to be plaintiffs. The kids, we're not going to use their whole names. We're just going to use their initials because that's the federal rules.
Thank you. And last question, does the I-485 group lawsuit also include AOS EADs, or is there a separate lawsuit for AOS EADs?
It's a separate lawsuit. What you're calling EADs is a form I-765, and it's the I-765 lawsuit. And you probably should onboard on that by tomorrow or Friday, because we're going to file a lawsuit next week. We've got 7 plaintiffs ready to go, and they're eager to get that filed. So if you wanted to participate in 2 cases, you can do that. One for your 485 and one 765. And we only charge $1,000 extra to do that.
Thank you.
So,
And Curtis, last words. The team would like you to talk about an oath ceremony. Does that ring a bell?
okay. So are you talking about how the USCIS hold impacts folks that have already been approved in 400 but haven't had their oath ceremony?
I think an oath ceremony that we got scheduled. If you want to look in the message, I don't know the context for it. I only saw it, but that's not the case I'm working on.
I'm not sure exactly what case we're talking about there, but yeah, litigation works if you have a delay. And we have, okay, a lot of attorneys every day will say, hey, look, I had this win. I had this win. We have wins every day. That's what we do. And so to me, it's like process, and I don't actually go in and know the details of every single win. That's our procedure, is to win. So if you're experiencing a delay,
closing words.
Let's do a lawsuit. We'll make it happen. Okay.
I love that, as it's our procedure to get wins.
To win. That's our procedure.
To win.
That's when things are normal. I get involved when things aren't going right. Otherwise, our procedure is to get the outcomes you're looking for. Okay. I mean, I'm involved normally, but I get really involved when things go wrong. Okay. Everybody have a good week. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.